What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Marriage Story. One of the movies, I'm sure it's going to be nominated for stuff. Noah Baumbach movie starring Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. They play a couple, obviously, a married couple. They have a child, a human child. And they're living on the East Coast. He's a director of plays, stage director, and she is an actress. And she wants to move on. She wants to move to LA and get into acting and other things. Just to kind of leave. Her family lives. Her mom lives in LA. Her family. Her mom's like an actress. She comes from like a showbiz family, I guess. And then Adam Driver's character was kind of a he's kind of hit big early on. Like he became somebody to follow in the play stage arena, as it were. And so it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's definitely like a movie that I wouldn't necessarily normally watch, just because I pretty much know it's going to be depressing. There's going to be good acting, but it's going to be depressing. I'm going to not like situations. It's going to give me stress. Thankfully, I haven't like broken up with anybody. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. I've only had one relationship that was like long, like 3 years long, and definitely didn't break up. I mean, when you break up, when you don't have like stuff. We didn't live together. We didn't have kids. We didn't have a pet together, anything like that. So it was pretty easy to break up and split apart. But when you have things to split, like a kid and, just stuff, especially if you're moving cross country and you have to like, how are you going to do visitations and all that stuff? It is kind of interesting that a friend of mine is going through, not a divorce, but it's about as close as you can get to a divorce. She has a friend with a kid. She's a kid with her ex, and they've been breaking up, and it's kind of been a big ordeal. That's kind of been close to my world, as it were, very close to my world. So it's been interesting to see a breakup like that happen and how long it takes, how stressful it is. You know. So anyway, watch this movie, and it was a good movie. It's a good movie. Good. All the acting is great. The writing is great. It's definitely a movie that shows off performances. So a lot of monologues, a lot of conversations. There is, however, a kind of weak sauce wall punch. But if like for that character, that wall punch makes sense for Adam Driver's character. He's not like an alpha dude. I mean, he's an artist. He's like a director. He's like a nerd, you know? Not like an aggro type of a guy. That's probably the most aggro he's ever been in his life. And he didn't even like punch a wall. He like just hammer fisted it. That's not, as somebody who's punched a lot of walls in their time, somebody who's literally broken their hand. I don't have a knuckle right here anymore on my right pinky because I decided to punch a cement wall when I was angry, out of anger, and I punched it. And I punched it wrong because you're supposed to punch with your index and your middle finger, those two knuckles. They're the strongest. And I punched, immediately knew I broke it. But that wasn't like the first time I had punched a wall. I'd punched many walls for many years. Like I'm somebody who bottles up anger, and there was a part of my life where it was just bubbling over. It was bubbling over, and finally I've been able to deal with all of my anger issues. But it's definitely a different punching attitude with me as opposed to Adam Driver's character. But yeah, it's a great movie. He's a great actor. She's a great actress. As far as like, I've heard discussions about this movie where it's like, oh, it doesn't portray her in a good light. I think they both have a lot of problems. Clearly, he's kind of aloof and not really taking responsibility for stuff, which gets him in trouble. But then I think also on her end, she ends up, because of the repressed, like, wanting to go pursue her career and grow her career and change things up in her life. I think because she bottled that up for so long, that when it became time and she got this lawyer to kind of, she instead of just going through a standard like moderation or whatever, which they were going to do in the beginning of the movie, and then she ends up going to a lawyer, and then it causes what would be a fairly still complex issue, like breaking up, like my friend is going through. It makes it like exponentially more difficult and more expensive when you get lawyers, because now he has to get a lawyer and they have to go to court. It's just like involving the government in relationships. That's what this movie taught me. This movie taught me that do not, like, marriage is the dumbest thing ever. To like, oh, we're going to get this contract for our relationship, and when it doesn't go well, eventually, which most of them don't, it's like a contract you're going to get into to like have to get out of eventually, and then it's going to cost tons of money. If you've made money throughout this time, you're not going to have it. Maybe you have to pay this person. I mean, depending on where the laws are in your state, like, divorces are just ridiculous, and the laws and things you have to go through. And it just made me realize that, like, how ridiculous, how like exponentially more ridiculous and fucked up everything gets when you put like the law into a relationship. Like, it's just a relationship. Why do you need to sign a contract? It's like, if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat. People cheat and they're married all the time. Like, it's not like it stops anything. It's just like, I'm going to sign this thing, so we're both going to lose a bunch of money later. Potentially, I mean, some women, strategically are able to get some shit, but I don't know. It was a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. Good performances, but it's not like, there's nothing in this movie that made me like, aside from just how it was filmed. There's a lot of long kind of just still shots. It's filmed very much like a play almost, where there's not a lot of, the camera's not moving a lot. It's a lot of locked off shots. Maybe it pans here and there as people are walking around talking. It's a very, real, very raw, just kind of experience of this couple going through a divorce. And other than that, I mean, I could see him getting nominated or her nominated. I don't know if they win. I mean, I guess I could see Adam Driver winning. Or Scarlett Johansson winning, but it's like, I kind of like movies that take me out of reality, because like reality, it's so fucked up as it is, especially potentially going into World War III. We have a complete like mental defective in charge of everything. Somebody who's like never been successful at anything, but just like comes for money, so he's allowed to keep fucking up constantly. So it's there's so much drama in the world. I get more and more into, I need to be taken out. Thankfully, like, if I had baggage going from a marriage or if I was fresh off a relationship or something like that, I probably wouldn't like this movie that much. It just probably hit too close to home, or I'd cry a lot and maybe I would like it. But there's no really happy ending at the end of it. They just kind of figure things out at the end of the movie, and it's like, it ends as good as it can considering the bullshit they have to go through. But yeah, that's Marriage Story. Check it out on Netflix. Netflix is killing it, man. I'm reviewing a bunch of stuff on Netflix this week. But yeah, go check it out. Marriage Story. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS, which there are over 1,000 paintings now available on the website. So go check them out and see which ones you want. Start collecting now. At Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful day. Peace. Oh,